Hi family, this is Coach Gabby once again, and today I'm going to be talking about how to write an ATS standard resume. Alright, so the last time I talked about the differences between CV, cover letter and resume, and yesterday I posted about jobs and career, and these things are very important so that you can know what to put in your resume and your CV, because a job is different from a career and a CV is different from a resume. So if you have not gone through those videos, make sure you go and watch it so that you understand the basics before moving to this part. All right, so let's talk about how to write an ATS standard resume. What is ATS? All right, so before I continue, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, follow, share with your friends that might need this information. Right, there are a lot of job seekers out there that need this information to make things right and to land their dream job. So be a helper, be a lover, be a genuine giver, and please share this information with your friends. Thank you. Welcome back. So what is ATS? I know a lot of you have heard about ATS, but you know what ATS is all about and what is used and how it is used. But don't worry, I'm going to explain it in the best, simplest way so that you can understand. So ATS represents Applicants Tracking System. It is a software that is being used by over 70% recruiters, employers, hiring managers to pick the right candidates, for the job, right? And this is how ATS is being used. A lot of people submit their resumes these days. In fact, for a single job, over 1,000 resume is being submitted just for a single job. And hiring managers, recruiters, they really don't have all the time. They don't have all the time to be going through CVs one after the other. So this is where the ATS comes in, and the job of the ATS machine is to filter out the right resumes from the wrong ones. So you wouldn't want your resume to be among the wrong ones. You wouldn't want your CVs to be among the wrong ones, right? And that is why you need to be at close attention to what I'm about to say here, right? When it comes to ATS machine, it is being used to scan and screen all the resumes. So when resumes are being submitted, it is passed through the ATS software. Every resume, every CV, every resume that you submit for a particular job, instead of the recruiters to be checking it one after the other, so what they do is they pass it through the ATS machine, it scan and check them out. So this is what happened in the ATS machine. They would have include the keywords, the things that they need. Maybe it's 3+ years, every details that they need in everyone's CV. So they would have input it in the ATS. So the job of ATS to make sure that it filter out the ones that carries all the the details, not all, at least 60% to 70% of all the details when it is being passed through the ATS. So you have to make sure that you are also smart in this season. You have to make sure that you are doing the right thing so that you can land your dream job. So that is what ATS is basically used for. It's used to filter out resumes, and the ones that pass through the ATS machine successfully, it will be given to the hiring managers. The hiring managers then go through it and pick the candidates that matches the job. Then they keep the others maybe for future job purpose or whatever they want to use it for. But the point is, make sure that your resume is ATS standard, right? So how do you write an ATS standard resume? Well, unfortunately, 80% of resume being scanned these days doesn't pass through ATS machine successfully because of the wrong formatting, wrong arrangement, not using the right keywords, and not imputing the right details that is needed for that particular job. But in this video, I'm going to give you tips that is going to really change the narrative and change everything for you, and that is if you take action, right? So the first thing you need to do if you want to write an ATS standard resume is to make sure that you impute the right keywords in your resume. So number one, input long form keywords into your resume. Okay, when it comes to keywords that the right words that is needed for that particular job that you're applying for. And let me just give you a top secret that can work for you. Whenever you go through a job description and they write something like, we need a creative, problem solving, they put all those details in the JD, which is the job description. So you have to make sure that you also impute all these keywords that you have and put it on your resume, so that by the time it passes through the ATS machine, it's going to be a successful one. So you don't just come up with your own keywords. You have to make sure that the keywords are relevant keywords that are relevant to the industry and relevant to the job, application. So let's say, for example, now you're applying for a content writing job, and you have to make sure that you put keywords like creative, someone that is good in writing, research. There are certain keywords, proofreading, editing, that needs to be in a content writing role, because those keywords are relevant to content writing. So you have to put it there. And you also go to your job description, the job that you want to apply for, check out the keywords that you possess and make sure that you put it in your resume. And you can put it in a part like your professional summary, your core competencies and skills. You just have to put it in different areas, in your duties and achievements, different areas that the keywords are imputed, the right keywords. And also, if you are putting acronym, make sure that you are writing the full meaning of the acronym. Let's say, for example, you want to write MBA as part of your education. You don't just put MBA, you have to put the full meaning, Masters of Business Administration, right? Also, let's say, for example, you want to write something like SEO in your resume. You have to make sure that you write the full meaning. That is search engine optimization. That is long form keywords. And another example of long form keywords is like, let's say, for example, you are applying for a job that is related to engineering. If you want to make it a long form keywords, so engineering is the major words, so you have to make, if you want to make it a long form keywords, you can put something like professional mechanical engineering. Engineering is still there, but professional mechanical is what makes it a long form keyword. So it has to be relevant to that industry and the job role that you are applying for, right? Number 2 is don't use tables, charts, columns, designs, and different things like that. People use table. I see a lot of people use table, charts, pie charts, columns, and all those things on their CV. What happened is that when this kind of resume is being passed through ATS, it reads it as images and not as words, so it won't be able to pick the right words, maybe keywords or the headlines. It won't be able to pick it because it's in form of images. And that's why I don't advise people to design and use tables and all that. Just make it a simple format like I'm showing you on the screen. Don't use this, don't use this, don't use this. Make sure that you stick to something like this. It has to be very simple like this. It has to be very simple. Please don't use tables, charts, columns, and all that. It's not needed in your CV. Don't put images, because by the time it's passed through the ATS, it reads as images. I don't know if you understand me, but it's just like you trying to convert a particular document to words, and it can't convert images. It can't convert all these columns and everything, charts that you are putting there. It won't convert it to words, so it's not going to pass through the ATS successfully. So I hope that you get that part right. Number 4, use the screen friendly fonts, right? There are many fonts that you can use to write your resume. There we have Arial, we have Cambria, we have Times Romance. These fonts, they can be easily seen, you can easily read them. Don't use fonts that cannot be read by humans and machines. There are some fonts like Monotype, Cursiva. There are some fonts that you can't just read very well. You have to make sure that the font you are using is readable by humans and by ATS, because after your resume passed through the ATS machine successfully, the HR is also going to have a look at it to read it. So it has to be able to be readable by machines and by humans. So use a font that can be that is readable, right? And make sure that it is not too small. The font size is not too small. And for every headlines on your resume, make sure that the fonts are bigger and you can bold it so that it will be glaring, and so that it will be able to section your resume neatly and in an organized manner, right? That resume section headings. And what I mean by this is that for your resume, there are certain headings that must be in your resume. For the first thing, contact information must be there. That's where you write your name, your contact, your address, your social media link or LinkedIn URL link, right? Then you go over to your professional summary or career objective, whichever one. Then you move over to your skills, your professional experience or your work experience or your career experiences, and then you move over to your education, your achievements, professionals, details, you know, hobbies and all that. The important ones are the ones that I've mentioned: the contact information part, your professional summary, your career objectives, and skills, educational experience, work experience. Okay, so you need the award achievement. If you want to add that, you need to add that also. So it has to be well sectioned and, you know, arranged in an organized manner. Use a chronological or hybrid resume format. Okay, a chronological other format is well advisable. That means you are starting from the recent to the oldest. You are not starting from the oldest to the recent. No, it has to start from the recent to the oldest. And talking about chronological order, you also have to use it for your education part. You don't have to start from the recent educational certifications or qualifications that you have before you move to the list. You want to use an hybrid format, fine, because that puts more emphasis on your educational and your education and experience, right? And number 6, don't use header or footer. Some people use header or footer. The thing is, when it's passed through ATS machine is going to skip the information on that header or footer. So you don't need to use header or footer in your resume. It's really not needed. I don't know why people use it, but trust me, it's just going to affect your resume when it's being passed through ATS. So you really don't need that. Remove it from your CV. You don't need it, right? Lastly, save your resume in PDF format or document format. Okay, don't save it as an image, don't save it as PowerPoint. Save it as a PDF or document and you are good to go. So make sure that you don't forget all these tips. Go over it again till you get it right. All right, so if you have any question as regard writing a standard resume or an ATS standard resume, CV, cover letter, statement of purpose and the likes, you can reach out to me. Check out the description. I've put some links there, and reach out to me. And also remember to follow me on other social media handles, and please subscribe. That's how you get fed. That's how you get more information and valuable content from me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Love you and see you next time. Bye.